Hey guys, how's it going? This is Jay and Mike the Plumber. Back
That's me.
again.
Hello, guys. How you doing?
Back again for another episode talking about John Smyth and his friend Thomas. What's his name? Thomas
Helwys.
Thomas Helwys. That's right. Thomas Helwys. I always think of the pill Eliquis when I hear his name. So Thomas Helwys. So we have some clarifications that we want to do. So we have shown you.
Oh, this is big, guys. This is big.
This is really funny.
This got really confusing.
So we have showed you this picture saying that this is John Smyth, the guy that we're talking about that was the inspiration to the Founding Fathers. This is actually John Smyth, Pocahontas' John Smyth. This is an older picture of him. Okay, so this,
which is funny because even the guy in the comment section, he even told us we presented him as John Smyth, Baptist founder before, and he pointed out to us, no, that's Thomas Helwys.
Yeah, and that's not Thomas Helwys.
Google's telling us that's John Smyth, Pocahontas.
This is Thomas Helwys, and this is the actual letter that he sent to someone that got him in trouble that we're going to go over a little bit later.
Yeah, this is called the mystery of iniquity. Got him imprisoned, until he died.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're going to talk about the relationship between John Smyth and Thomas Helwys. And remember, John Smyth inspired the Founding Fathers. He is the one that came up with the idea of separation of church and state. He started the Baptist Church. And Mike just has some information we're going to share about their relationship, how they broke up. They had a split in their relationship, which really sucked, But anyways, let's get into that, Mike.
You ready?
What happened between John Smyth and his buddy Thomas Eliquis?
Okay, so we're going to talk about the year 1607. This was the year, 1607. He had given up all faith and being able to reform the church. This John Smyth, he was at the time bishop of the Church of England, and so he separated from the church. Gathered his following, and they went to Holland. And all 40 of his followers, along with his most his closest follower and right hand man, that this John Smyth, this guy right here, or Thomas Helwys. Let's not get that confused. Yeah. This is
Thomas Helwys.
This is Thomas Helwys right here. looks like Friar Tuck. This other John Smyth looks, or I should say John Smith. Yeah, this.
That's Pocahontas' John Smith.
That's Pocahontas' John Smith. So, anyways, now where were we at? So this Thomas Helwys was his closest friend. As time went on, here in Holland, he come to the conclusion that the Church of England's baptism was invalid.
The sprinkles.
Yeah, that the sprinklers. However, rather than but throwing out the baptism kind of posed a problem for them because him and his followers were of course baptized in the Church of England. Probably as infants. So, and Smyth actually declared, at that point in history that he declared that he believed there's no true church in existence, but it just didn't exist. So, so believing that he had no other option, he did go ahead and baptize himself, and that was met with a lot of criticism, a lot of controversy, and. And a lot of people contended that, there are a lot of contended critics that said that came after him too for that.
Well, as you know, in our faith, the LDS Church, we actually teach about a concept called apostasy. And apostasy is a period where the revelatory capability of the apostles in Jesus' time was taken away as a result of them all being murdered. Because we see that, once Judas died, they called another apostle. I believe it was Matthias. Was it Matthias? Who was that other apostle? Anyways, I'm digressing. But, the apostasy, once you study in our faith, teaches us that there was a dark period until 1820 when Joseph Smith restored. God the Father and Jesus Christ came to Joseph Smith, talked to him, restored the church upon the earth, the true church upon the earth, and led Joseph Smith to a book that was a history of the American Indians in the American continent, right? What John Smith's going through right now is, he really is just having a lot of indecision. Like, he doesn't have that authority. He knows he doesn't have it, and so he's looking for it. And so he's searching. So
I feel like, he was maybe more aligned with what the Founding Fathers wanted. He wanted more than anything just to separate from England and to, cut ties with monarchy and, establish their own settlement. But that's what his followers wanted. wanted to. It sounds like they were really. It sounds like it was kind of a last ditch effort for him to, throw water over himself so that he could
kind of save him salvation.
Because
it seems like he was on a never-ending journey of trying to save himself and trying to figure out what was right.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, anyway, so where were we at? So yeah, he declared that he didn't believe the church exist, but believing he had no other option, he poured water on himself, and this was the self baptism. But after he baptized himself, he went ahead and baptized his following, and beginning with, of course, this Thomas Helwys. But it was not many months later, after this, he kind of changed his stance with self baptism. He actually admitted that maybe it was the wrong thing to do, and Smyth believed that at this time maybe he should have requested baptism from the Mennonites. They were the Mennonite community. They called them Anabaptists, or the Waterlanders, and they were in this area in Holland at this time, and they practicing the believer's baptism. So,
yeah, and that is what attracted him to the Mennonites, was that they actually had the type of baptism that he himself knew was gospel centered.
Yeah, exactly. He himself had actually come to that conclusion while he was in England.
Mm-hmm.
It probably came as a surprise to him that there's other people that believe that same thing. Probably really resonated with him. I'm sure it did. That there are people that, hey, it's like, the people that felt, hey, we, the whole point of getting baptized is to make a covenant with the Savior.
Yeah.
Free will to make that covenant. So Smyth now, he now viewed these, the Mennonites as a true church, and it was in 1610 that he went ahead and requested baptism from the Mennonites, and Smyth and most of his congregation. Smyth received backing from most of his congregation, and his congregation, requested baptism to get baptized from them as well. However, Thomas Helwys and the remainder of the congregation, wouldn't accept the Mennonites as the true religion. So what Helwys do? He ended up, separating himself, and they went back to London. They settled in a town just outside of London, in Spitalfield, and that was considered, where he settled was considered the first Baptist church actually on English soil. But yeah, Helwys decided that he would remain in England and fight against the Church of England. Instead of do like a lot of these other Protestants were doing, running and to escape monarchy and stuff. I mean, who's to say who was right? But it's still admirable what he did. That he decided to stand up to the king. And Helwys, he did take up an attacking position where he wrote up a declaration called the Mystery of Iniquity.
Mystery of Iniquity.
Yeah. He personally delivered this declaration to King James, and it got him imprisoned for life until 1626.
And you mentioned earlier, didn't you say that John Smyth, Pocahontas John Smyth, and this guy were alive around the same time?
He would, yeah. I looked at that too.
That's funny.
Pocahontas John Smyth would have been in Jamestown at this same period.
Wow.
16.
So he got in trouble for writing that. Thomas Helwys.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy to sit there and think that, like, oh, I'm sorry. What other thoughts did you want to share? Because I was.
Just that. He was. So we can see that he wasn't successful at securing religious liberty, in which, at that point in history, it was pretty much over. It was, the 30 Years' War ended, across the European continent in 1638. They said it was, that was pretty much the end of the Protestant movement until it started up again in America, the Revolution and all that kind of thing. So yeah, that's all I got. What do you have?
Yeah, so I mean, what's interesting is that we sit here and we talk about this concept of apostasy. We talk about the struggle of John Smyth, Thomas Helwys to find, salvation, to find redemption, to find the ecclesiastical order that they feel will satisfy and satiate their soul. And then maybe some of you out there that have found the ecclesiastical order that satiates your soul. I've met many great people from many great faiths. I do believe that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints does have some very unique power that has been given to them through the story that they have, and the priesthood power, and the power in its teachings and obedience to its rule, God's rules and laws, can help us grow closer to him and become stronger. And I'm just grateful that I don't have to struggle with these things that these guys had to go through in our day and age. I'm grateful that we have separation of church and state. I mean, we can have religious people in power, but we don't have a governing theocracy basically telling us this is what you have to worship every day. Like in Indonesia, when I went to Indonesia,
or the Muslim nations too.
Well, it's a Muslim nation,
where this is what they were dealing with, but they're still dealing with that in Muslim nations where statism, the state that owns and operates the religion.
Yeah. So I'm grateful to be an American, and I'm grateful that these guys paved the way for the founding fathers to pave the way for us, and now we got to pave the way for our children. Just through awareness and kind of like bringing a community together. That's why we're doing this podcast, is to kind of just talk to different people and get our ideas out there, and love to hear what you guys think. Please like and share and subscribe. And thanks for letting us share this history lesson with you. And what we're going to do is next week. So what did you decide on, Mike? Are we going to do another episode on John Smyth and Thomas Helwys, or are we going to get into the nitty gritty of King James?
Oh, we're going to talk briefly about the 30 Years' War.
Oh, okay. So we're still going to talk about John.
It started in Bohemia.
Yeah. So we're going to do that next episode. And then after that, we're going to talk about how this came about and the controversy of what type of person King James was. This is the Holy Bible, King James.
Hey, now don't drive away our viewers. We love King James, man.
We want the truth. Okay? We want the freaking truth. Is that off of A Few Good Men?
I don't know what's
Jack Nicholson and I don't know. Anyways, guys, hey, leave comments if you have any questions. You guys have a great day and take care.
Yeah, we'll see ya. Take care. Adios.